Welcome to Game of Roses. This is PaceCase.
This is This is Survivor Clues.
We're about to talk
about, this is Survivor Clues.
I do have your Survivor.
Yes, I'm wearing my buff. I'm ready for this competition. This is my Topo Chico buff. As you know, I'm an unpaid influencer for Topo Chico. Do it for the love of the game. I got on my Topo Chico buff. It is neon green, just like one of the three teams tonight we witnessed in the first episode of Survivor Season 48. Ooh. And of course, I would be remiss, just like Juliana was, if I didn't mention that one of my items that I would take to the island, Topo Chico, tangerine and ginger extract.
You get 3 items. What are you getting rid of? Flint?
Yeah.
You're getting rid of Flint.
I'm getting rid of whatever 3 items I need to get rid of to have 3 Topo Chico, tangerine, and ginger extracts.
Well, I've got my LaCroix boy here. Nice. Let me tell you, if I've learned any lesson, it's never get rid of a piece of costumery. I had a Survivor buff. I've had it since college.
Yeah.
And it's orange, and I don't know where it is, and it's not in my costume box.
Oh, damn.
And it's kind of devastating. Hopefully the next time I move, I will find it.
Yeah. Well,
if not sooner.
You didn't have on the buff, but you did indulge. This is our first ever Game of Roses recap of Survivor. I'm excited for this.
All right, I'm giving DL JPL. DLJP.
Who's DLJP?
DLP Part 2. Dark Lord Jeff Probst.
I just called him DLP, and it felt so good to say DLP does this, wrong. DLP does that. It feels just natural. You know what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So we will begin
I'll try
this.
To do it.
What's that?
That'll be hard for me, but I'll try to do it. DLP to DLP.
Call him whatever you want. We'll see. We'll see how it goes. All right. So we start this out. This is the first time, by the way, some context. I have not watched Survivor since season 2, which was probably in 2002 or 3. That's literally the last one I did watch.
Who's to say? I think the last one I watched was like 40-ish, maybe like the first few seasons of 40s, 41, 42, 43, maybe. Okay. I've missed a few since then. And at first I did a best of, like spoiler-free best of Survivor seasons. So I've probably seen over half, I would say.
Okay, over half. I have seen literally 2 seasons. No, nor have I. And part of the reason that I really want to watch this season is because of what's happening on Traitors. Carolyn, Boston Rob, Sari in season 1, we're seeing these Survivor players controlling Traitors essentially. And what's that?
Sari?
Yeah, Sari in season 1. I mean, this season, I guess the Survivor players didn't do so good. They, or at least the 2 Traitors, they all got wrecked by a Big Brother player, no less. But anyway, I'm very curious to watch this game in its contemporary form. And I have to say, tonight, I was very happy that I watched this, to say the least. There were so many cool things in it, so many little plays, little twists, little turns, and I'm just like already picking the game apart. I will say, though,
it's changed so much since season 2.
Oh, totally. Totally. I already saw a bunch of shit in there. I'm like, wait a minute.
So many things. Shot in the dark. The advantage, no advantage things.
Right.
Or what is it? Advantage, no.
Shot in the dark.
No, the one where they find the thing that's like a clue to the idol. We'll get to it.
Right. But, yeah. All of this is foreign to me. Like, I don't even remember. They've
shortened the seasons. For production reasons, supposedly.
That's good though. Like, formalize what the season is. I like in the first 2 seasons, as I remember it, they were still like, the game hasn't really formed. It was like, we're going to throw you on this island and there will be some challenges and we don't really know what happens after that. And they just kind of figured it out. Now they were
starving.
Yeah, they were starving the people. They were losing like multiple pounds every day and stuff. But they in this episode, the teams show up pre-formed, the initial tribes. Everybody has this shot in the dark thing. They have like implicit pieces of the game that they don't even need to explain anymore.
Yeah.
And like, as somebody coming into it who hasn't seen the past 40 seasons or whatever, 35 seasons, I guess, I was like, what the fuck is a shot in the dark? How are they already on teams? What is going on here?
I was surprised that they already started on sand. A lot of the times they have them start in the boats, and then they'll be like, you can grab everything off of this boat and jump in.
I remember that.
But they often do that weird boat ride. I mean, let's just get into it, Clues. Okay.
I remember a guy on season 1
this is
brought
Survivor
in beef
48,
jerky.
episode 1.
Yes. Okay. So we begin. Portion 1, drone shots of this tropical island. We see this guy being told over Zoom that he made the cut. He loses his shit. This dude flips out. And we get this opening montage of a bunch of different players getting the final Zoom call with the casting producer saying, you did it. You're on Survivor season 48. And this is, to me, already I'm in, because it's treated like a game and it respects itself. This is like watching the NFL draft, and then immediately after the draft, getting to see all those players drafted play their first game of NFL football, like in the same hour of TV. It's so fucking good. I absolutely love it, because it gets you hyped up for them and for the game. Like, it's an honor to be added to this.
Stories.
Yeah.
We see this one person end up producing the first tiers of the season at the end of this, and says, my kids are going to be so proud of me. I needed this so badly. And the casting producer who is off screen, who gets this man to produce the first tiers of the season, was my Jorge Moreno, bystander of the week.
Wait a minute, where's this? Was this Joe?
Not a lot of choices.
Is Joe the guy who said that he was?
Was it Joe? I don't know.
Fire captain in the Logie tribe.
I thought Joe was after this person.
Maybe he was. I don't know. Was it Cedric? No, wasn't Joe the guy who has the kids?
Shit, now I have to figure out who this is.
All right, let's move on. I think it was Joe. But we see some little quick pops here. Joe's a fire captain in the Logie tribe. He gets the first Chiron. As he tells us, he knows how to leverage adrenaline to his advantage. He also has a rose tattoo, I noticed. We see, I don't know how to pronounce this exactly. We don't know. He could be Bachelor adjacent. This is Seunya, I think is her full name, but they call her Say all throughout this episode. She's a marketing professional from South Philly, part of the Vulu tribe, and she explains she has no filter, and that's going to get her in trouble. We then see Eva, PhD candidate in the Logie tribe, explains that she's a physicist at Georgia Tech, the only girl who played on the men's hockey team. And this experience, she's been in these environments where guys are all around, it's male dominated. She's like, I don't give a shit. I'm going to fucking wreck this island. She immediately becomes my favorite player, instantaneously.
I just did a little fact check. The man is wearing a pink shirt who is crying. And he says, are you serious, Patty? So this bystander's name was Patty.
Okay, interesting. There you have it, Patty. Anyway. I didn't notice Patty. I didn't even have a bystander because I was like, isn't everybody on the island players? But maybe not. Patty was there.
Not in the intro videos, the producers. Mm-hmm. I did love Eva's intro. I love, we see Cedric says his son tells him he's going to ball out. We see Charity's been a flight attendant 9 years. She thinks that's going to help her. David says he's a stunt performer.
Charity, if I may, says, I've been already playing Survivor in a metal tube for 9 years. So to her...
haunting.
Yeah. It doesn't sound like a fun place.
We see then... I can't believe there's been, by the way, 50 seasons of this show. That is unreal. I mean, Bachelor's got to be... getting up there though.
Yeah, Bachelor's had 29
total combined shows
and 21. They've had 50 already. They're in their 50th. We see this
silent boat thing, and this guy says, "We're wild dogs sizing each other up. I'm going to eat your lunch." And we cut right to sand, and Dark Lord Jeff Probst says, he judges all of their initial reactions as tribes, and he says we're different generations, different educations, occupations. They're like, it's a cultural melting pot who we bring together for Survivor, but everyone loves this game. And Mitch gets the Dark Lord's preference. He asks him first what's going on with him. He gives his PTC about his speech impediment and gives a flashback to the deaf player who inspired him to go on the show.
Yeah, this is what I was trying to talk about earlier. These little clips that they flash back to of these prior players. And I'm just like, I don't know who any of these people are, but I at least get the purpose of that clip, that it's like, it's legacy. And already within the first, I mean, this is the first portion. So this is maybe the first 5 or 6 minutes of the show. You're getting clips to the prior, like, massive superstars, I assume. Are those people superstars?
Look, I don't think I've seen that season, or I don't remember who that was. Got it. The first guy that Mitch, I think, brings up, I did remember. Or the one who... Wait, hold on. No, the one that Kevin talks about, I remembered. He says he was young and watched Quan play. And I was like, oh, that's someone who looks like me. And showing that, like, representation, we're not just smart. And then he references David versus Goliath. I definitely watched those. Yeah. They did a lot of seasons where they did, like, different kind of themes against each other.
And what was David and Goliath? Was like small people versus big people?
Yeah, like little nerds. And
I see.
They did one that was like brains, brawn, and beauty, I think. It was like hot people, smart beauty people, and then strong people.
Remember that show? So we see these legacy clips.
I don't get why they haven't done third wave yet.
Who hasn't?
That's my question. Survivor.
What do you mean?
They don't bring in people.
Oh, you're saying to make a Survivor season of other reality stars. Didn't they have Mike White was on a season of this? The guy who created White Lotus.
There's been like 1 or 2 people here and there. Chase Rice had a season. I mean, I think he was a country celebrity before. I don't know.
Interesting. Huh.
He's definitely, I wonder if that vaulted I didn't see his season either.
Okay. Well,
so yeah, there's certain people I'll remember, but
we see Chrissy here.
I'll explain any of the changes they've made. They've done a lot of changes. They had flip a coin basically thing, and you can change the whole course of the season and undo people getting like kicked off and stuff.
Yeah, it's interesting. I mean, we'll get to it in the end, but that shot in the what's that?
They had a thing called Redemption Island, where if you got kicked off, you would go there, and then you could like fight your way back. Interesting. The shot in the dark thing, I want to talk to you about that when we get there, because that game mechanic is very bizarre to me. At any rate, it's almost never relevant that I've seen. Like occasionally, it's like 1 in 6. It's like,
it's a 16% chance or 17% chance that it'll be 1 out of 6 will have like you're safe. So you're taking a 16% chance, but you're giving up your vote. It's
not even necessarily like something that they need to do, when a lot of people play shot in the dark when they don't need to do it too. So it's like, it's rarely that someone needs to do it and they hit it. But when it does happen, it's like crazy. Of course, it's a crazy statistical circumstance. But those people also like, tend to go home the next time also, because it's like easy vote. Yeah, exactly. It's the already dead person. Well, we can discuss more in depth. Yeah, we'll get into it once we get there. So we see Chrissy next. She says she's been watching since day 1. She was 30 when the first episode aired. Kevin says he thought DLP's call to apply was directed to him specifically, and he recounts watching Cook Islands when he was 13. And this is what you were talking about, where he saw the dude that looked like him and was like super jacked, and he was like, but he was also smart, and so I think I could be both. DLP then says, you all came here in different ways, but the result is that everyone there is at the threshold of their adventure, and every choice will define their journey. Fear can arise. You have to either commit or hesitate. And here's the rub with all of it. Just because you attack the game doesn't mean you'll win. You might still lose, but the pursuit is worth it. This is like a speech out of an anime to me, where like the teacher is about to tell all the students that you got to go battle this demon and some of you are going to die, but it's the glory of the hunt. It was wild. And he's like, it's very like company man kind of things. Yes. Like, this is what you signed up for. But like, and he's still kind of trying to carry off like a young, fit guy. And he is like, those calves are super muscular. Super muscular. How old is Jeff Probst? How old is Jeff Probst? He's timeless. We don't need to go into that. Okay.
Look, how old is Jeff Probst? I'm looking this up right now.
They did smart things, which is never put his
He's
age
63.
on screen in Chiron so that it never becomes
63
creepy.
years old.
And if they put that on the screen, it probably would come off creepier.
Is he going to be doing this when he is 73?
To all of us Survivor fans, he's still very young. The Survivor season during COVID, he put together his own studio in his house.
Okay.
With his son. That's hard to do.
Yeah, I'm not disputing that. I'm just saying, is the face of this thing that is about people competing in these hostile environments, in some cases physically brutal challenges, is this going to be the man who I saw him in this episode? We'll get to it.
Ooh,
I'll just say it
clues.
now. I saw him in this episode when they were doing that second challenge, carrying those trunks up the fucking ramps.
Yeah.
He was out there making sure that they were like picking up the trunk correctly and clearing the sandbags. This dude was diving in the sand and being like, yes, green team, you're good to go. There's going to be a 73-year-old guy doing that.
This is his kingdom.
I understand that.
As long as he does as long as he does his core work, you know what? You're leading me to a conspiracy town, which is that
motherfucker's going to tear an ACL. He's going to injure himself.
You're saying someone should step in. I think season 50, they should only cast people who they want to be the next Jeff Probst. And that should be the secret, win. Whoever wins gets to be the host of the show.
That's interesting. Bring back a bunch of all-stars.
Mm-hmm.
It's like Boston
Rob, a bunch of all-stars you can't get anymore would probably do it again.
Totally. That would be great. Mm-hmm. They should do that. And it would be like his farewell. I can see the ceremonial thing where they have to light a fake Jeff Probst body on fire in a pyre and offer him up to the gods. He lights the fire. Hell yeah, that's awesome.
I'm not
a Viking
going out like
for him.
DLH. I'm going out like DLJP, baby. I'm lighting my pyre.
Exactly. I want to see a DLJP pyre out on a beach somewhere. Boston Rob's putting a torch on it. Carolyn's putting a torch on it. Yeah, exactly. Who shoots the arrow? That's got to be Carolyn. Shoots the final flaming arrow.
Carolyn becomes the host of Survivor. Are you kidding me?
I know. That's a damn show right there.
Cause, oh my God, now that's all I'm going to be thinking about.
Yeah.
She's got to come back. Is she on Survivor 50?
I have no idea.
I bet she is.
I don't know.
By the way, there was a Traitors Survivor themed commercial where they just kept showing the Survivor people. God.
Wild
to watch.
I wrote a long fucking paragraph about it, which maybe I'll run into if we go back to our notes here.
Ahead of ourselves.
No. Fuck it. I want to have just kind of a general conversation about this because it's like there's so many things I noticed just in terms of its presentation stuff. And that thing you're saying that there was this commercial that for Traitors that highlighted Boston Rob and Carolyn primarily. There was one during
Parvati.
Bachelor and Parvati.
Parvati. They act like she's the main character.
Yeah, they did. I mean, she was last season. They did one of those exact same commercials that they aired during Bachelor this Monday night. But it was all Bachelor centric. It looked like Wells Adams was the star of Traitors season 3. He got eliminated in the first night. So they cut it specifically to be like, you like The Bachelor? Look, here's some Bachelor people, in Traitors.
It was wild. I feel like that's brilliant. Kind of minutia, but it's like,
no, it's brilliant.
It feels so propaganda. And it's like Netflix showing different faces, no matter whose Netflix it is, to get you to watch the show. Mm-hmm. But I'm always judging the algorithm for which face they show me. I'm like, what? You think that one's going to get me? You're right. Click.
You're having your own personal war with the Netflix algorithm now. You're like, I would like that show, but just to spite you, fuck it. Click. No, I just thought that it was genius.
More for less.
Like you learned something there about Traitors, how far the excellence of the team goes. And it's like all the way down to marketing. Even the people who are putting together promotional materials for the show, doing it at the highest level.
Mm-hmm.
Topo Chico.
You love to see it. You love to see it.
All right, let's move on. This
podcast is not brought to you by Topo Chico yet.
I mean, indirectly it is.
Well,
I don't survive without Topo Chico now, so indirectly it is keeping one half of this podcast alive. Okay.
We get the team assignments. we get green
Siva.
is orange is Siva for the sun. Green is Ula for the moon. Purple is Logi for the sky.
Okay.
And they are going to have their first resource competition. This has also changed the structure a lot too.
Have you ever seen a season where the tribe names or what they represent are like less symbolic and less broad? Do they ever do like weird ones like that?
I don't know if they always say what it means. Like, I think sometimes it's like nonsense words.
Yeah. Have they been to Fiji like multiple times?
I think they go to Fiji a lot now.
Okay.
Yeah. And at least back when I was watching in the early 40s of the seasons, they were shooting back-to-back seasons. And that was part of why they shortened it.
Can I ask you one more question?
Yeah. Oh, you can ask me as many.
Do they scout these locations for native wildlife?
What do you mean? To get
like
animals?
Do they make sure that there's not bears and shit or something that can come out in the night and kill these people?
I don't remember seeing a bear, but I think there has been hazardous wildlife.
Like, has anybody ever gotten touched by a snake?
Taken out, I think. Mostly people just like fall in fires. That's happened a lot. I saw that
season. I think that was season 2 or maybe 3. Did I watch 3?
I think it's happened multiple times.
Oh, Jesus. No, that was terrifying.
People get injured and have to be taken out. And now I'm getting confused with alone because I've watched so many of those. I'm like, yeah, people got bit by like a big bug and had to leave on alone. But not that I can remember. Honestly, it seemed like they were in much more harm's way in the earlier seasons, and now it's like they get rice. It doesn't. And there's always like a resource competition where they like win a big chocolate cake or something, and I'm like,
That's what I'm getting at. Like, I remember in the first one, there was a lot was made of like, you're living on this island now. Like in the first couple of days, this one blew through 3 days, and people didn't seem to give a fuck. It's like, are they living in a hotel? What's going on here?
No.
They really are camping there, but like we didn't see them fall asleep. And on any night, we didn't see them wake up. There was nothing about like the being on the island that matters. The night. Yeah, that I found very strange because it's like, again, as a returning viewer, I'm kind of like, oh yeah, the premise of this is fucking insane. But they kind of just sweep over the entire premise and just get right to only gameplay mechanics now. It's like, you're on this team, you're on this team, you're on this team. 2 PTCs from that team, 2 PTCs from that team, 2 PTCs from that team, and here's your first challenge.
You know, it is very structured at this point, you know. They have the resource challenge, you have the immunity challenge. We see the first resource challenges. They're going to carry these chests. They're racing around. I've talked about this. The physical challenges are mostly not for me unless they're like holding on a pole. I like those ones.
Yeah. Personal, like psychological endurance. I agree. These are just like, well, any big, strong thing is going to be the big, strong guy.
Especially when everyone's covered in mud. I'm like, I can't even see who's who. I can't even tell what team it is.
Same. I thought visually that was a mistake. Don't cover them in mud. I don't know who's who at this point. We haven't even met any of them. And now they're all covered in mud and their team colors are covered. But DOP talks about what you're going to have to do for this challenge. And I wrote this down. Crawl under a net, through the mud, get 3 chests, crawl up a ramp, get a key, unlock a chest, throw something from the chest on top of a pedestal to finally get the prize. And there are 3 pedestals. I was like, who's fucking coming up with this shit? This is insane. It's like, how many other things can you just like put together? I like it, like you're saying, the challenges where there is one very clear and simple objective. Stand on this fucking stump until you fall off. Last one wins. Done. This shit is like, I couldn't follow it. And even as I'm watching it, I'm like, I guess it's just an obstacle course. Yeah, same.
Like, unless something interesting happens, like, so like a real injury, or sometimes like in the little advantage clues, it'll be like, you need to find the idol. It's under the loser's bench outside the next challenge. So they have to like find something without anyone seeing them. They do that a lot. Or they have to say some secret phrase out loud. That's the only times I'm really interested in the physical challenges.
I would be trying to find the hidden phrase just like by my own shots in the dark.
Just saying random phrases.
My first one would be Topo Chico, tangerine and ginger extract. And I would just keep screaming that into the jungles, having it echoing back to me in my Topo Chico buff. I would make a fake Topo Chico buff from whatever one they give me. I would just write Topo Chico on it.
There has to be one.
Yeah. I'd get that goddamn spawn con.
Oh my God.
Believe me. All right. So we see this
Kevin
challenge.
is IFIing that he got a hurt shoulder. Love this for Kevin. This is exactly what I would be doing.
You think it's real?
I don't know. Have you ever crawled under a net?
Never crawled under a net, but definitely have fucked my shoulder up a bunch.
I'm so delicate, just like Kevin.
Oh, I see.
I don't know.
I could see how like getting, crawling down like that could fuck you up.
I don't know what that's from. Oh my God. Get your Topo Chico laden head out of the gutter, Clues.
What? What's about my Topo head? What are you talking about? I'm a Topo head. Never forget it.
Oh my God.
Okay. We have this IFI.
David is Arnold Schwarzenegger. They're launching people up this tower. The girl who has no filter screams, "Let's go!" Which I love.
Let's go. Fucking DLP. Sorry, DL. What's his name? JP. DLJP. He's literally squatting at one point on his hands and knees. This is what I'm saying. This man's 63.
DLJP. Huh? What? Dark Lord Jesse Palmer and Dark Lord Jeff Probst.
They are the same person.
Oh
DL,
my gosh.
We got to call him Jeff P. DL Jeff P. DL Jeff.
Jeffy P.
DL Jeff. That's funny to me.
DL Jeff.
DL Jeff.
Dark Lord Jeff.
Yeah.
I like that.
Dark Lord Jeff is literally at one point squatting with his hands on his knees, like an inch from the ground, in this person's face, just screaming as they're crawling through the mud. He goes, "You wanted Survivor? This is it right here." Just an inch from this guy's face. There couldn't be anything more sinister.
His spit on you.
Yeah, but that's what I'm
Survivor.
saying. Like, how absurd is it going to? The older he gets, I feel like the more surreal the show becomes.
It is so funny because so many people have been watching this show for decades at this point that they don't even kind of see how it would come off to a first time watcher, basically like you, right? Where you're like, what the fuck is this man doing?
Yeah. He's like in the first, I don't remember the first seasons, him being like that. He was more like, I'm here to kind of guide the game and okay, it's time for the vote. Here's what the challenge is and good luck everyone. Now he's literally like fucking, you wanted Survivor. Here it is. Through the mud. It's crazy.
Hey, Dark Lord Jeff has evolved. Just like, I'm a happily married man.
That's true. And then by the end of it, Hannah Sluss won't be coming tonight.
Clues, let's have some grace.
Grace? Grace? For whom? Dark Lord Jeff? I don't think so.
No.
All right. They finally in this thing, Loggy wins the first challenge. DLP congratulates them. They're covered in mud. They get a map to their camp and supplies. They head off. DLP then tells the two losing teams, no supplies for you, but you can earn them in a different way. Each tribe must choose one person that they are going to send to go in a head-to-head, one-on-one competition somewhere. Vula picks Kevin. Siva picks Kyle. DLP tells the other players, DL Jeff tells the other players to head out to their new homes. And Kevin ITMs that the IFI set him back. And so now he's either going to fail again or change his fate. Portion 2. Teams go to their camps.
However, we know he's going to do fine because we've never even heard from Kyle before this point. We have only been from Kevin's POV.
See, I didn't know. I thought maybe they were setting up Kevin for a first eliminated from the game edit. I didn't know. Portion 2. Everybody's still covered in mud. The teams are going to their camps. A guy named, I think his name is pronounced Shauheen, ITMs that this is an all-time memory to have won the first challenge. They rinse off in the ocean. Eva then tells her tribe she played hockey. Thomas explains he's a music executive in ITMs, that he's letting everyone else intro themselves so he can filter his story appropriately to fit the tribe. We already see there's an open admission of lie play is going to be going on here, deception. He tells him he's a music publisher. ITMs, there's a lot of pressure. There's a firefighter, another guy who's in shape, a female hockey player, a literal basketball player. He's like, am I the weakest link? I thought that was pretty funny.
They're automatically sizing up the tribe who's going to be voted off first. Because a lot of the time initially in the early stages of the game, when it's team versus team, you may want the strongest people to stay. Bianca ITM, she's going for a social strategy, and we see her hitting it off with the music publisher.
Yeah.
And she says a day one can get you to the end in her ITMs. And I like that we're getting a lot of like very different characters up front from what we're seeing in their ITMs. They go for a second group swim, and we meet one of my favorite players, Camila, who ITM, she's wanted to do this since she was 9.
Yes, she says she wants to do it since she was 9 because she likes to cause chaos. I thought that was an interesting admission of strategy. They then go to their camp, and Mitch ITMs that he's disappointed they didn't win the challenge, but they seem strong as a unit. Chrissy then she says she's a lieutenant on the Chicago Fire Department, and ITMs that her job's going to help her deal with different personalities. David does some pull-ups on a tree, impressing everyone.
Error.
You thought the pull-ups were an error?
Yeah.
You never want to display your strength unless in a challenge?
It's already going to come out. Like, you don't need to be doing this.
He is very muscular. He ITMs that he will be the hero if that's the character they want. Is this smart? Is it a threat? We don't know. He then ITMs that sometimes he's a hero, sometimes a villain, and he thinks his charm will get them to look past his overwhelming muscularity. He makes a joke about how gross water is. I don't like drinking that. We cut to a bird in a tree. Not my creature of the week. The Vula tribe is up next. Cedric, the colorectal surgeon, introduces himself saying his kids don't think being a butt doctor is cool. He ITMs that from a physical standpoint, they are the underdogs. Kevin's injury here is referenced, which made me think again they were going to cut him out at the end. Stephanie then, we see her for the first time. She's a tech product lead. She ITMs elation at being able to play this glorious game. Her job has her making all the decisions, but she recognized that could put a target on her back this game. She's going to practice sitting on her hands, not taking action, which she might direly want to, she says. So that's interesting. People are going against their innate nature, who they are as human beings. Leave that shit at the door. This is a game where you may have to be the exact opposite. I found that pretty interesting.
I found it pretty interesting when she's getting dressed. She's not sitting on her hands because she's putting on a big old bucket hat. For me, I loved this hat play right off the bat. I'm watching Stephanie. I am so sad to see what happens with her because I thought she was hilarious to watch.
Yeah, I agree.
We cut to Sai, and she says that Stephanie and Mary are her mom and her sister. And she ITM, she's going hard at the game. She needs to find her core 4, lock it in. Immediately, she locks it in with 2 guys. Can we lock in? And has a 3 ghost lock in with Kevin, who's on the island right now. And she does a little handshake play to lock her boys in. She says, I came out here swinging. It's my season.
I was like, is this a good strategy? Because if people suspect that you're like there to be a hardcore player, aren't you gone almost immediately?
No clues. I don't think this is a good strategy. I thought she was flying very close to the sun and could be an easy target for next out.
Indeed. We do have to explain. See. Lizzie's having some camera issues. So if her image has changed, you're watching this on YouTube, that's the reason that it now looks completely different.
No one would notice, Blues.
What's that?
You know, they do those studies where like a completely different person like reaches down to do a hotel key and stuff.
Yeah, I've seen those.
Tapes.
It's wild.
No one would have noticed. It's the same image.
I think people might. I just wanted, for those who did notice, I like to give an explanation. But I agree. This strategy, I think, is going to come back to bite her in the ass. Time will tell, but I don't know. And this is the first time, too, we get an ITM from Justin, the pizzeria manager. Or no, he's not. God. Yes, this is the guy who talks always about restaurants. I think this is the only time he's featured that he didn't say something about life being like a restaurant. And he was my grocery store of the game. He's probably my grocery store of the season because everything to him is like restaurant.
I was watching for this man. When was his first ITM going to be? Because I noticed that pizza shirt right off the bat, and it came a long time later, but he did deliver on being obsessed with restaurant.
Unreal. Yeah.
He's like,
it tastes like obsession with restaurant.
Over and over again.
Yeah, he's my favorite player so far, other than Ava. All right, so portion 3 begins day 1 now. We're out with Kyle and Kevin, and Kyle, ITMZ, is accountable for his team's earlier loss, feels pressure to get these supplies. They then get on the beach and they read a piece of paper telling them the rules of this head-to-head competition. They have to pull a rope that will be attached to a machete on one end and a coconut with a key inside on the other end. They have to use the machete to hatch open the coconut, get the key, which will then allow them to unlock a pan or unlock a jug that they have to also then get a pan from another tree by any means necessary and use the pan to go to the ocean to get the water to come back to put the water in this jug little by little. That's the challenge, guys. Have fun and go. It's so complex. I don't get it. Why are they doing this to me? It's
often an endurance thing. Like you got to take this many gallons of water to this place or this many rocks up a hill or whatever. I kind of check out during the physical challenges, but we're hearing from Kevin saying his strategy. He's like, slow and steady wins the race. And Kyle's like, I'm going to use brute force. And Kyle accidentally breaks the pot. And he then goes over to Kevin's pot and starts helping him fill it with water when they're both exhausted. And it was my play of the game. This is an out-of-the-box thinking. There's no rules implied one way or the other, whether you can help the other person, but this lets him have this ally in Kevin who's going to be on a different team. Eventually, if they both make the merge, this can help them out, and no one will really know that this happened.
Kyle breaking the pot, then taking this moment to make this, as you say, out of the box play was also my play of the game. All I saw for it was late game implications. There's going to be a moment when you need Kevin to pay you back, and you're going to say, remember when I helped you fill up that jug? And by the way, it's meaningless. Like, he was going to fill the jug up. There's no way Kyle could have won, but it's just that extra symbolic little nudge. I'm here to help people. I'm not an asshole. And I think that maybe will come into play somewhere down the road. And so he's planted this kind of long game seed that may flourish into a beautiful tree, rose garden, whatever you have.
One way that you can participate in the second audience is with your energy, or you can participate with information, or you can participate with, bringing them on your special private chocolate cake eating thing. Often they get to pick a few people for that. And it's like on the surface it's for TRR, but it's like, nah, you're trying to win over all the audiences.
I would want them to make a little, if I won that and I got any say in what the prize would be, I would want them to make a separate little like kind of beach bar for me called Cabo Topo, Chico. And then it would only be drinks that were made with Topo Chico tangerine and ginger extract and nothing else.
I am like not convinced that this isn't some secret influencer bit, that you are really being sponsored by Topo Chico. And you're just pranking me.
No, it would be too good. I don't think I could ever come up with this idea as like, I'm going to go as hard as I can as a joke, and that's what they're paying me to do. I don't think so. This is real, I assure you.
I don't know.
I swear on my grandchildren's lives.
Oh, no. No, don't invoke Danielle. No, Danielle.
Okay, we move on. Mary, a substance abuse counselor.
A stand-up guy, though.
Starts some fire in under 2 minutes and explains this is the first time she's ever started a fire like this. She ITMs, she's glad people saw it, but also it doesn't matter in this new era. Nobody gives a shit about flame skills. Mary and Kevin then talk and they about having a connection. She ITMs that he's got golden retriever energy. They agree to tell each other if anybody's talking about them, and they develop this bond of trust, or so they say. Kevin ITMs that he's in Vula heaven. He's giving a lot of really funny turns of phrases and stuff. I'm liking him quite a bit too.
He has been one of our colorful narrators that we've been cutting to the most out of anyone. Yeah. We then get that Survivor cut of the Traitors commercial. We cut back and the group start finding that there's little animals, little animal print stamped on some of the nature everywhere of different colors.
Now, is this common? There's just weird shit in your camp now?
There is often some sort of like long-term puzzle thing going on. If there's like, now that you don't just find idols, you often just find like a hint to an idol. Often that will require looking around camp for something serendipitously. Mm-hmm. And so sometimes people will do that at night. So sometimes they do film stuff happening at night, especially after tribal. People pissed and stuff. But they find the weird rope. It's covering another animal. And then Kyle comes back and he doesn't give a wave, and they already know that he didn't get the tools.
Absolutely brutal. He ITMs that integration is going to be tough. He's going to tell him he's a teacher, even though he's a lawyer. So he's doing deceptive play right off the bat too here. I thought that was interesting. Like, people hate lawyers.
A threatening career.
Yeah.
I think cops also do this often.
Interesting.
Tony, that was his big thing.
He lied about it?
Cop. He lied about it, and he would do this thing where he hid, and he called it like Tony's lookout, and he would like spy on the conversations at the water hole.
Oh my God.
It was incredible.
That's unreal.
It was so good and hilarious.
Here, our lawyer turned high school English teacher apologizes for not getting the supplies. David ITMs that he's a sincere guy, but if he would have gone, he would have won. I thought that was funny. So he's like hyper competitive from the get-go.
Mm-hmm. And
he's like,
hero
I think I can
or
trust
villain,
him.
David? I don't know.
I think he could be. Then David tells all the other players about these symbols they found. Charity ITM, she might not have shared that information with everybody. She thinks maybe it was a bad strategy. They all start finding these other symbols on the ropes. They have no supplies, no shelter, no fire. And then, meanwhile, the Loggy tribe, Star, a sales expert, says their tribe is fire. People are doing jobs immediately, and they're doing like what they're good at. And we see Ava ITMing that she's the youngest, so she wants to contribute. And there's just these shots of her like the Incredible Hulk carrying whole fucking trees under her arm, just like tearing down any bamboo tree on the island now is in their camp. She demolishes all of them in 10 seconds with no help from anyone.
Everything Eva does is what I picture you would do if you were on the island.
She ITMs a little something that we may have in common. She got the touch.
Mm-hmm. She got a touch. Yeah. She loads this PTC, and she says that she's putting all that energy into the bamboo right now. Yeah. The bearded man loves her joy. We see the other camps getting fire. The firefighter, Joe, makes a fire. And he ITMs that he is actually one of the most 4TRR Survivor players in history. And he really wants to change the narrative about Survivor and make it so the non-liars can make it to the end. I'm interested to see how that plays out. And Eva trusts Joe, and maybe they're going to be this fun little dynamic duo.
I think they are. I buy what he's saying. I think he is genuine and sincere for TRR. He's going to go through this thing with integrity overall, even if that means losing the game. I buy what he's selling.
We shall see. But they have this one-on-one conversation, and they make a final two pact, basically.
Yeah. And you have to do that on day
he says, "You're my
one?
ride or die."
I guess shit can change, but... Is that pretty common? A day one end game pact?
I think people are doing it more and more. But I think you want to really make sure it's the right person before you do that, and make sure that they are not like that they're playing kind of a subtle game. Like I wouldn't do a day one pact with what's her face? Sai. Yeah.
Yeah. She's going real hard, real fast. We are now in Vula Day 2. Stephanie ITMs that she's a hard-hitting business lady, but the relationships matter in this game, so she's getting to know people. She explains Reiki to some of the players on her team. She ITMs that some people are going to play faster, like Say. She can't imagine her playing and getting to know you game, she says. She thinks she wants to play hard. Time will tell who has the better strategy. Then Say comes in and tells her core 4 at the water well that they need to find the idol before the other members of their team, the ladies, do. So she's made an alliance with the guys of the group, turning her back on the women. I found that pretty interesting. Back at the camp, Mary says to the other players, hey, Say's strategy is bad. Going away from the group all the time like this, there's no subtlety in it. She's not trustworthy. So immediately she's painting herself as a target. Immediately they don't trust her. And meanwhile, Say in her core 4.
And Dustin find the beware advantage. And it's a Da Vinci Code. A little code breaker thing.
Yeah. And so they can't figure it out. She ITMs being terrible at math. And there are these like further rules get laid out as she's reading these scrolls that not only is the immunity idol in here, until you solve the puzzle, you don't get to vote at tribal council, which is, I have to imagine. I mean, again, I haven't seen this show in 20 years or whatever, but your vote is the most valuable thing you have every time, no matter what. Because if it comes down to a close thing, and we'll get to my error of the game later, where it's like one vote sways it, that can save you. That's way more valuable than I think a 16% chance. It's like, if you look at the odds and you know who you talk to, did she think she had maybe a 50-50 chance at that tribal council? That's way better than 16%. Let me throw my vote into that, Anyways.
I mean, I think the only thing more valuable is an idol, because you can theoretically play that at any time, although
of course
they often will put restrictions on it. Like you can only play it till the merge or till top 6 or whatever.
By the way, what we're talking about here, she gets this little device, the Da Vinci device, and inside the Da Vinci device is an idol?
No, it's a beware advantage.
What's that?
Oh, inside it is the idol. Yeah.
And so what is the idol? What does that grant you?
So that means that you can, if all the votes are on you, you can play the idol and you're safe. And the next highest vote number will get sent home.
Dark Lord Jeff said you have to play that before the vote. Is that common?
Yeah, I think you have to play your idol before the vote. Yeah.
Got it. Okay. I just thought it was like a pure immunity, like in Traitors. Like if everybody votes for you, you get to walk up there and be like, well, guys, I'm not going home. I've got the idol. Fuck you. Ooh, but it's not like that.
I think you have to turn it in at some point during tribal.
Got it.
And I didn't know that the Shot in the Dark was played so late too, but I guess that makes sense too. I don't know.
There's a moment here.
They've experimented with these devices, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, I assume it's not the same from season to season, but I just, if you knew some of these things. But here in this moment, Say is giving this ITM saying, I might have to like bring the broader group in to help me so that I can save my vote because I can't do this puzzle by myself. And then it's not even a reaction to anything. She's just talking and she delivers this full mouth aperture. And I'm just like, she's going to be the face player of the season. This is unreal. Her face play is insane. And she will get a little award later, not here. But this is the moment that I knew like, oh my God, this is something special. Meanwhile, Camp Laggy.
They go on this advantage idol hunt, and the group notice she's gone. Shaheen calls it Survivor 101. You don't do that. And Beard and Stash link up, and all of the men feel good about Joe. We're California Girls, and they name themselves this secret alliance named California Girls.
Because they're from California.
Yeah.
For those who might be wondering, California Girls is a song by the Beach Boys from their 1965 album Summer Days and Summer Nights. Written by Brian Wilson and Mike Love, it reached number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100. Wilson conceived California Girls during his first acid trip while thinking about women and Western film scores. David Lee Roth then covered the song in 1985, and it was his biggest solo hit.
What do you mean? The song is by Katy Perry.
Katy Perry has a song called California Girls, but it's not a cover of the Beach Boys' California Girls.
And you think they're talking about the Beach Boys and not Katy Perry?
I think the Beach Boys song is more well-known.
Huh. I don't know.
Over time,
about that.
Like the Beach Boys
we got to get this person. We got to get one of them on the show and be like, which California girls were you referencing?
Okay. I'm down for that. That's a lifelong mission now.
The guys like Ava, when they're trying to figure out who else to bring into their alliance, and Ava then tells Joe in a private one-on-one her autism PTC.
Yes. And this was almost my play of the game.
This probably should have been my play of the game, actually.
It was almost my play of the game, but I think long term, I was just super impressed with that dude who was like, in the lowest moment where he's like, I just broke the fucking thing. Oh my God. He's like, let me go help this guy. This PTC, this play is something that I think she kind of knew she was going to have to do at some point coming into this. Like, I'm sure this was prepared in the weeks leading into coming on the show, if not months, as she's strategizing.
But she picked the right person for it, you know?
Absolutely she did. His little speech saying he wants to change the game got to her, and she's like, that's the guy. And I thought it was well played, and it obviously gets a great reaction here. He says,
it's also like she has the receipts, so if she later fucks up in some way, she can be like, look, I already played that PTC to Joe. He can be like, yeah,
I've got the touch. We do see him tears here, and he says basically, I've got your back. And she tells him, he's like, how can I help you if something is going down? And she says, squeeze my hands. That'll calm me down.
It got tears. Tears.
I know. In episode 1.
Strong play.
She's a strong player. I can't wait to watch what she does. Represent.
I know.
Then we go to Siva, day 2. And we see David, the stuntman, tells them all, there's 3 things a person can divulge that will tell me a lot about your personality. Favorite movie? What kind of car do you drive? And how you like your steak to cook. His favorite movie is Notting Hill. He drives a Toyota 4Runner, and he likes his steak rare to medium. This was my favorite moment in the show. PaceCase, come on, let's hear it. Movie, car, steak.
My favorite movie?
Yeah.
And what is my current car?
What kind of car do you drive? What's your favorite movie? And how do you like your steak cooked?
I drive a Toyota RAV4.
Nice.
And my favorite movie? Oh, maybe Office Space.
Nice.
And what's the other one? Steak medium rare.
Huh. Interesting. Not somebody called the cooking it well done, the behavior of a sociopath or something like that. My answers are this.
Yeah. Mary.
The Natural, Prius, vegan. We get a little conversation.
Is there a degree of cooking in vegan steak?
Huh? Steak ain't vegan. What are you talking about?
Is there vegan steak?
I don't know. I don't think so. Yes, some kind of, like a mushroom or something. I don't know.
She's back, baby.
Nice. The camera's back on, cooling down. We get a little moment here where David cannot believe that, is it Charity, has not seen Notting Hill? One of the people in his group hasn't seen it. And he's like, what? You don't know this line? I'm just a boy standing in front of a girl asking her to love him. And he says he embodies a lot of stereotypes, but some he breaks. He's a huge rom-com, hopeless romantic.
But Kyle and Mary love Holes as their favorite movie. Isn't that book about like a kid being tortured?
I don't know. I never saw the movie, but I remember when it came out, it's Shia LaBeouf as like a little kid, and they're at like a summer camp or something, and they dig holes that have portals in them or something.
They're like, I
don't know.
They're like bad kids. They're at like a juvenile detention thing, and that's why they have to dig holes.
Oh, I didn't know that.
I don't know. I think the woman like tortures him or something. It's a weird favorite movie to me. That's a red flag for me. They both also love The Departed. I guess those are two, and that's the duo of movies.
Yeah,
classic duo.
If you like Holes and Departed, then you'll love this season of Survivor. Then they also, though, they bond over being Guyanese and from the Bronx. Then we get this beautiful shot of a tropical spider spinning its web. And this Survivor Season 48 spider spinning its beautiful, glistening web around all of these players was my creature of the week. I sometimes see spiders in my dreams.
I knew it was going to be your creature because of your spider entity. I have a different creature.
Hey, look, you think that's a synchronicity?
A spider?
It's probably just a likelihood.
Aren't spiders like aren't there the most spiders of anything in the world? Or maybe it's ants?
I don't know. Sand. Some
sort of bug. We see Camila starting to line up. What are we going to do if we lose? And they're like, we really like Kyle. And Charity's like, I don't know. And then Camilla and Kyle link up and then tell Chrissy that Kyle's name is out there. No, wait. I'm going to throw. Okay, so Camilla then says she's going to throw Charity under the bus because she thinks she's on the bottom. And she's planning this new four with Chrissy, David, and Kyle. And I love her scheming. It is very charming.
Yeah, she really is scheming hardcore. And I'm kind of lost at this point in who's got what alliances and who's trying to get who out.
Me too.
And I'm just along for the ride. I'm like, I know they'll bring all this shit back together at the end and they'll boil it down to two people. I know they're going to give me that narratively through the edit. I'll wait for that. And this is the part where I'm kind of checking out. And I know it's important shit, but it's like, I am kind of like, it's too many people.
It's hard when we first meet all the people to exactly track it all.
I feel like I'll be more invested later. Right now, I'm just kind of watching for funny lines and personality really to come out of these things. But we see then ITMs, they need to get back to work on this idol, what you call it, the Da Vinci device. They need to get back to work on the Da Vinci device. Yeah.
They call it something specific in the book. That's its real name, I think. But
I didn't read the book or see the movie. Tom Hain. Cedric ITMs. That her sharing the info makes their alliance a little stronger. And then he goes to work on it. And he seems to be kind of figuring it out quickly. Like, okay, well, it could be this code. It could be this code. Kevin comes in and helps. He ITMs that it's a double-edged sword. He likes that she shared that she has this, but he's also scared that she has this. That was kind of funny to me. And she figures out then how the colors correspond to these symbols that are around their camp of these different animals. And somehow that's the code. And she figures it out.
I figured it out before her.
What's that?
In the edit, I figured it out before her.
Oh, wow. You should play.
Well, I knew it was the animals, obviously, because it's the only other hint of anything in camp.
Yeah.
And when they showed the letters, I was like, boom, Wordle. Listen.
Exactly. If I had that thing, I'd just be doing Wordle. I'd just be sitting in a corner trying what is that? 6-letter word?
Mm-hmm.
Every 6-letter word.
You would try every 6-letter word. I mean, I does try that. She does produce tears when she gets it open. And she wins this individual immunity. And she thanks all of the women who have poured into her to show her she can be strong. Cedric says your mom would be proud of you, kind of like a parental ghost figure.
Yeah, that was a great play.
And she says, I'm giving them hell, Gramps. Shout out to her Gramps. Cute.
Yeah, it was great.
Next portion, we get the first immunity challenge of the season. It's this big obstacle course. And DL Jeff finds that the rule is cheers is the saddest of them all. I like when he rates the cheers levels.
Yeah.
They're hurt by the first competition. Often the momentum can really hurt a team.
Absolutely. And he lays out these damn rules again. Race over a ramp. Crawl through a tunnel made of net, use a Fijian war club to smash a mask. That will release a key. The key will unlock a sled. You will push the sled over sandbags. You will pick the sled up to carry it over another series of sandbags. You will then push the sled up a platform. You will then open the sled with the key. You will then use puzzle pieces found inside the sled to put together a vertical survivor logo. That's the challenge, guys. Good luck. What?
They build the logo a lot.
What is going on here? I'm just like, Put on some other shit. Make them run a mile in between it or something. Make them do complex hand high fives and stuff. Come up with solve some algebra in the middle of it too.
Individual or the group immunity challenge win if number 1 seed goes to purple, number 2 to orange, and Vula, the green team, is going to have to vote someone out. And Dark Lord Jeff also takes their flint away.
When he starts this, Deal Jeff goes, "Get it on." That's literally a phrase used by referees to start fights in the Ultimate Fighting Championship. Let's get it on. That's Big John McCarthy says that. Yes,
I like
DL
that
Jeff
he still has so much energy. He really, it feels like he's really giving it his all into his different phrases.
You don't think that's enhanced in any way?
Obviously, you're seeing something. What do you mean?
You don't think he's taking some performance-enhancing drugs?
What do you mean? Like steroids? Or like Adderall?
That's more what I mean. That dude is wired. This man, he's 63 years old. During this challenge, there's a lot of
Adderall use in the reality TV world.
Something.
The
Maybe something stronger.
Has talked about that a lot.
I got no idea about this. I'm just showing you what I saw on that. A 63-year-old man.
I've never had that much energy.
Exactly. This dude, I don't have this energy now. This guy's 63. I watched him scream in someone's face, "Get it on!" And then as they are carrying these chests that weigh hundreds of pounds per his own description, he dives in the sand to be like, "Yep, you got it. You cleared it. Go, go, go." What?
I mean, they need him to do that so that
just
they know they've hit
I almost passed out.
The checkpoint.
Yeah, exactly. I'm just saying.
Look, I don't even notice the screaming because this part I don't. Yeah.
I don't know who's sprinkling the magic powder on his cereal, if it's him or if it's the producers.
Do you think the producers are drugging?
They got to get that performance. I don't know.
Oh my God.
I don't know. It ain't natural.
It ain't natural. We see that Stephanie's worried because the spotlight was on her because she did the only part of the challenge that anyone looks at, the puzzle. Ooh, that's good strategy. Why did she pick the puzzle then?
Deal, Jeff. At one point during this point, when her team starts like kind of coming back, Jeff goes, "This is why you never give up." Just screaming it to no one into the sky.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
I wonder if a lot of it's in voiceover too. Like if they get that in post, just a bunch of him like screaming these lines.
No, you can see it. The shit in his neck is popping out. He's there. Like he's present and he's fucking amped 24/7.
Whatever he's selling, I'm buying.
Yeah. Anyways.
We then see in the commercial Survivor season 50, they're going to add in a Love Island element that they're going to use like the votes to shape the game and what'll happen. Log in now to vote on the first 4 elements. And this is our way of celebrating Survivor.
Yeah. When the fans choose.
Season.
I like that.
Me too.
I like that a lot. See, this is what they could do. This is what they could do for Bachelor. You want to save the franchise, Bachelor producers? Here's how you do it. You cast 50 entrants. You make one episode about them and you air it singularly, maybe on a streaming service, maybe on YouTube. These are the 50 players we are thinking about bringing into next season. Let the audience decide. Then you are absolved of anything. Exactly. And let that decision come with your life getting turned upside down like it does when you come on the show. Then it's out of your hands. Have the casting producers find those initial 50 people, put them all online. The top 25 make it, period. As
I would
voted
say
by
it should be
the audience.
Smaller. I think they need a smaller Bachelor cast and do more like Love Island USA season 6. I think in part because they just focus on these core like 6 people. You get to know the people way better. Ooh, I think they should.
That would be interesting.
Lower the number.
It down. Yeah. You make it 10 players and those 10 players make it all the way to hometowns.
Yeah. Like you should, not that they all make it to hometowns, but
I mean, right up to the edge of it.
Have some time where they're going on dates and no one's going on.
Or maybe there's like 2 removal ceremonies to get you to the final 4. But like, that's fine. Night one is like, it's interesting, and I love the circumstance of it, and you can still do that, have the limo exits. They show up, but nobody goes home that night. And nobody goes home the next day.
Night one.
Or the next day.
I think no slaughter night one. I know they like it. You want those tears night one, but I think people would. I think people would like it if you got to learn more about each person.
Totally. Totally. Anyways,
Dark Lord Jeff then does a Yellow Jackets crossover ad.
Yeah.
Outwit, outplay, and most importantly, outlast. Creepy.
Yeah. I would love. Have you seen Yellow Jackets? You watched it in HBO Max,
I haven't seen this season yet, though.
I could just see they should like AI put Dark Lord Jeff's video into an episode of Yellow Jackets. You've seen only season 1?
I haven't seen the newest one that just came out.
Okay, but you've seen all of season 1.
Yeah.
So when the girl is eating the dead one, or when they're all eating it, they could put him, superimpose him going, "Let's get it on," and then they all devour the body.
Definitely. Put him in some gold makeup and outfit.
Yeah.
I would like that. We come back and Mary and Stephanie are talking shit on Sai. They don't like how she's always scampering off. And we finally hear from Pizza. Justin, ITM Sai is dangerous, but up front. And he is keeping in the middle, just like at restaurant.
Just like at restaurant. You know, when you're at restaurant, you got to keep in the middle. If you go out too far or you lag too far behind at restaurant, it's not like restaurant anymore. And I want things to be like restaurant.
No.
How is this
like
restaurant?
At restaurant, when I'm asking, do we need more supplies at restaurant?
Yeah. I just go into restaurant. I do restaurant. I make middle restaurant. I like middle restaurant. I'm a middle restaurant man.
Some people complain about eating rice, but to me, it tastes like restaurant.
His 3 items that he brought were 3 jars of Sundays with Joe. Okay. What just happened? I went into a K-hole grocery in his
Pizza
sauce.
Man finally, and he's talking about restaurant, and we see that he's talking with Sai and Cedric, and then he tells Stephanie and Mary that, actually, they're not up to something. Don't worry about it. And they're hanging in the middle. Sai says, "Are we locked in?" She's like getting them. Remember, you're my boys. You went on a long water walk. I think this is another little error in her aggressive play.
I agree.
Counting how long someone's at the well.
Totally agree.
And we then see her ITM about the idol that she wants to use it wisely. And then we cut to a gorgeous creature who's playing her little heart out on the beach. This idol goose was my creature of the week.
Nice.
This goose was strutting her stuff, trying to decide, am I playing an idol tonight or not? I don't know.
Yeah, it's a great creature.
To Steph, Sai, Kevin, Mary, and Kevin says they're bouncing 2 majorities at the moment. He is feeling in the middle, and he says, literally a famous movie title line, "There's something about Mary that he likes." Love this. And he and Justin are the ones in the middle. He thinks it's perfect. And he's like, but we should flush the idol from Sai at some point to get it back. So you're like, is it going to be Sai? Is it going to be someone else?
It seems like Stephanie is the one they're really teeing up. Those are kind of at this point, I'm like, it's going to be one of those 2. And we come to our first tribal council. Night 3, they say. We get some shots of how they decorated this season, and as the players are walking in, they all kind of have these looks of wonder on their faces, like, oh my God, we're at a first tribal ceremony. This is crazy, or tribal council. And it's that legacy comes in. It's like these players are treating this with respect, with reverence, that they even get to be here. And I absolutely love that. You don't get that in Bachelor, really, because it's like you can't openly acknowledge that it's an honor to be playing this game like you can in open games.
We're in the living room.
Yeah,
this is where the first responder goes.
Yeah, exactly. Tira Lakazi fell down those stairs right there. Oh my God. So did PaceCase.
So did PaceCase, more famously. Cedric gets the Dark Lord's preference from Dark Lord Jeff. He calls in him first, and Mary says, we're the Team City folk. And Stephanie starts talking about witchcraft. She says, we got a bunch of air signs. Usually they're good at communication, but they can be indecisive.
Oh my God. And we cut to Say, who reacts with a full eye aperture. What in the fuck is this lunatic talking about? Face, wears her buff kind of like I'm wearing mine right now. My Topo Chico buff. It's a little similar, but her faceplay was off the charts this whole episode. And this was like the crowning jewel of it, in my opinion. DL Jeff even notices this face play, and he's like, "Oh my God, I could tell by your face. That was crazy," or whatever. And he's like, "I could tell by your face."
Dark Lord acknowledgement of face play.
You were amped up. So was I. And she's like, "I need to work on my expressions." And he's like, "I love it." Love level 0.
Oh, he loves to call them out. He loves tribal just as much as they do. I wrote here, Justin, just like at restaurant, Jeff, sample tastes like restaurant. Yes, chef. I don't know what I meant here. No.
Oh.
Everything he relates is to restaurant.
Okay. So we see DL Jeff, sorry, I have it written as DLP, is asking all these other people, and Say is basically saying, I think they pronounce it Say. She explains, historically, your tribe has to prioritize strength or loyalty at some point, and she mentions a shot in the dark for the first time, and I'm like, what the hell is that? I find out later. And she says she won't work with somebody who's taking all the possibilities, and if you're looking at the stars all night, you can't play the game. This is a direct shot at Stephanie. We know she was looking at the stars last night. This is
when you're looking at the stars, and Mary doesn't take kindly to this stargazing insult and makes my face play of the game. She was so shocked. She was acting as if someone had just insulted the core of her being. Which is how your face should always be.
I agree.
And Steph says, just because we can appreciate our special environment, it doesn't mean we're not playing hard. And Sai says, well, I'm at the water well strategizing while your head's in the clouds. Steph's like, no one came to Fiji to look at stars. Okay, they're going to let this go. And Steph says, everyone is playing, capital P.
Yeah, that was a great line. These players do have a lot of good one-liners, like locked and loaded. DL Jeff then goes to Kevin. Kevin says he agrees with both points. Him out. Yeah, he's like, you can't ride the fence here, dude. And he's like, watch me. I agree with both points. Watch me do it
expertly.
Yeah, because I'm both. I wanted to have the experience of being on the show also, but I am also playing.
He invokes his family too into this, like as sort of this defense of being on the fence. Like, I see both sides, I'm playing for my family who aren't here. It's like you're hyping yourself up while still not letting Dark Lord Jeff get what he wants to feed on. We get the vote, and Sai goes, Steph played her shot in the dark. I can just feel it, which I guess means it went so fast. So she doesn't think that Steph voted, I guess.
Well, they haven't voted yet because DLP says it's time to vote. And DL Jeff goes, does anyone want to play an advantage or an idol? Oh, right. So they have voted because he's about to read the votes? No, because we see them voting.
So they do the vote, and then Steph plays her shot in the dark. It's a failed shot in the dark.
Stick.
And she loses the... Wait, what?
I didn't know what it was because she stands up and she just walks over and hands him this little stick, it looks like. And I'm like, what is this? What's going on? It's the stick play. But then he unwraps it and it's a rolled up scroll and it says not safe.
Yeah, I think everyone has that as like part of their ammunition.
So you really like at this point, if you're mathematically playing this, you're like, does my vote matter enough that you think you have a better than 16% chance to sway it? If you do, like, you really only have to think,
it's really a Hail Mary.
It's totally a Hail Mary. If you don't think you have at least a 50-50 shot or slightly less so that you could potentially tie it with your vote, then you play the stick. But if you think it's half and half, and she seemingly, at least in the edit, laid on some good arguments. I thought she had some people on her side, and she did get one vote, which was not hers, obviously, because she couldn't vote because she played the stick. So at least one other person voted her way. you know?
Yeah, I think Mary voted with her is my guess.
Right. And then if one other person voted with her and she voted her way, obviously, that at least at that moment would be tied.
But not if the other 4 all vote together.
Well, yeah, and we'll never know. I thought that was kind of weak too. They don't reveal the whole vote total. Like on Traitors, they do.
Sometimes they do.
Interesting. There's a lot of information in that would have been good.
I don't know. That is odd. And you usually get to see what the person going home voted for sure.
Stephanie.
Yeah, sad to see Steph go.
Stephanie playing her stick and not voting was my error of the game. I just think the math doesn't make sense here to me. I think you keep the stick for, in the end, it didn't matter anyway. And maybe it would have saved her, I guess. But I just think mathematically, you have to think I'm at least a 50-50 here. And my one vote, it means way more than a 16% chance.
Yeah.
In my opinion.
It never really does anything. But you don't, I don't think you ideally want to waste it in the first round unless you're pretty sure you're going home. So I'm pretty sure we missed some conversations where she was kind of figuring out which way the vote was going. But I'm very excited for the season.
Me too. Did you watch the teaser for next week?
No.
Do you want to know what was in it?
Yes. I don't know.
I'll tell you 2 things that are in it that will not spoil anything.
Okay.
1, the face play is off the charts. Almost, I'd say 50% of the shots in the teaser for next week were just like close-ups of people doing the most insane. I'm like, what could possibly be happening to that person right now? It's great. That, and we learned something about David that has no effect on gameplay whatsoever. Do you want to know it?
Okay.
He has 4 nipples.
What?
Yeah, that'll be revealed next week. So
I can't believe they withheld that till episode 2. Bachelor would be showing it up front.
That you would have to come out out of the limo in a big
Mr.
suit
Legs.
that was like 4 nipples.
You'd have to dress up as a giant nipple.
As the 4th nipple, and you have 3 other people come out with you. It's your family members. It's a whole. Okay, who was your MVP?
For his colorful narration, for his second audience play with Kyle, and really, I feel like giving very main character energy. Kevin was my MVP.
Yes, Kevin was also my MVP for all of the same reasons. I just thought the IFI immediately draws you to him as the main character of episode 1. Has this going to affect him? Will he be able to do other challenges? He immediately redeems himself in the very next challenge. Then he comes in and he's part of 2 alliances. He's talking about being in, what's the name of his camp? Ula Heaven. I think it's Ula Heaven because he's in 2 different alliances simultaneously. And he's like, oh my God, I knew I was going to play the game, but I didn't think I'd be playing it at this level immediately. And he's absolutely loving it. And you can just see the glee on his face of being in this game that he loves. I absolutely love everything he's doing. So,
it's a praising of the process.
Yeah.
And he obviously has one of the best third audience games. I think Mitch also does. He got one of the first intros and the first Dark Lord Jeff's preference. I'm very interested to see what's going to happen this season and see your reaction to what I think I've become indoctrinated into the cult that I'm not even seeing. Like, I didn't even notice Dark Lord Jeff was entering golden years.
This elderly man, threw his body into the ground with reckless abandon and screamed at the top of his lungs, "You got it! It's clear! Go, go, go!" What's going on? Like, what are we watching even? That his performance in terms of a Dark Lord, is he the oldest current Dark Lord?
I don't know. I watched the commercial for The Amazing Race after, and I've maybe only seen like 1 season of that. And I was like, damn, that show has an old white Dark Lord too. I'm just like, these dudes like just got in there at the right time.
Yeah, I mean, pretty much. And then it's if it ain't broke, if your host doesn't have a national televised racism scandal, you leave them there. You just don't change the formula. But anyways, I'm excited to cover this too. I'm really excited to watch DL Jeff do what he's going to do. And I assume he always wears shorts. Never see him out of shorts.
I never noticed. Wow. I'm going to pay more attention to him this next episode.
He's very muscular.
I told you that during the physical challenges, which is when he does most of his work, I go to the astral plane. Sometimes I'll focus on some minutia of it.
Yeah. What I encourage you next week,
colorful narration.
Watch when you're watching the challenges. Watch Dark Lord Jeff. Don't watch the challenge. Watch what he's doing.
He cares about his performance a lot. I remember there was one episode where he said, "Hey, I want to talk to you guys about something. What do you think when I say bring it in, guys? One of my signature lines." And they were like, it makes me feel like you're gendering us. He goes, "Okay, I'm going to change it. Bring it in, survivors." And he like made this thing of like, I'm going to bring Survivor up to the 2020th century. You know, wow. I'm going to make sure I'm being PC. Yeah.
Changing the language. Huh. Well, I may have to go back and look at that clip, but thank you everyone for joining us. This has been our first recap of Survivor episode 1, season 48. We hope you've enjoyed it. I definitely did. And I'm looking very forward to watching the rest of the season with you.
Me too. Who do you think would win just based on what we've seen? I really want Camila and Kevin to go far.
Yeah, I feel like Kevin has a good shot because he's proven quickly to be a good player of the game and be in that middle ground. Like he at least understands that strategy. Whether he can execute it or not, I don't know. I think the players who are playing hard and fast, what was the stunt guy? David, that dude I think is like, he's a little too out there, you know, his personality is a little too in your face. I feel like in a game where the other players are determining who goes home, it is a little bit like Traitors in that way. It's like the group says, we don't want you here anymore for whatever the reason may be. And I just think that people who are kind of like ahead of the pack in any way will usually be eliminated. It's really a social game. And I feel like he's just misreading social cues a little bit and like talking in a way that I don't think people will like over time. Yeah. Because it really is, you know, it's a different game than Bachelor, but a lot of it is about charisma and who like no one's going to target, you know? Yeah. Who's got the most like clout of the group. Lord of the Flies. The hierarchy is a big thing too. Like if you think you're at the bottom of the hierarchy, you're going to try to switch teams. Interesting. Yeah. Okay. So yeah, it's a very complicated game. Well, we'll see. I can't wait to watch it all. Thank you for joining us. Thank you, guys. Thank you, folks. Oh my gosh, I'm as bad as Dark Lord Jeff. Praise be Dark Lord Jeff.